I'm Matthew Lapp, host of Matthew Lapp Train Guide. Also today I'm at the STRATACA, Kansas Underground Salt Museum in Hutchinson, Kansas.
The STRATACA Kansas Underground Salt Museum is located on 3650 East Avenue G in Hutchinson, Kansas, and is open 9 to 5 if you check the web for the hours. The STRATACA Kansas Underground Salt Museum is located in the Hutchinson Salt Company mine, which began operation in 1923 as Kerry Salt Company. Mine is just 650 feet below the Earth's surface, and the salt is about 350 feet thick. 275 million years ago, back during the Permian era, is when the state was covered by a very salty sea, very shallow sea. The salt that is in the mine is used for melting ice on roads in the wintertime, but 30 to 40% of the salt is used for livestock feed. There are no fossils in the salt, but you think that the shape behind a piece of plexiglass is where a dinosaur fossil is? Well, it looks like the shape of a seahorse, but it was made by smoke from a blast. Since there are no dinosaur fossils in the salt, is because they speculate that the salt concentration was too high or that animals would have moved on. Also, if you see a pipe that is in an area that where water is penetrated in a crack in the layer of mud that worked its way down through the layers of salt and sediment, depositing mud and leaving small pods of crystallized salt in its wake. Years ago, they used to give tours while mining was happening, but in the early 60s, they had to quit giving tours due to work interferences, which work just needed to get done. Also, appointments had to be made for tours, and in 1952, there was about 9,000 visitors in the mine. After the company stopped using rail to get around, they started using vehicles which would be converted to run on biodiesel fuel. The Reno County Historical Society was established by 13 citizens that were interested in preserving history starting in 1960 and received its charter from the Kansas Historical Society the next year. Also, the society did not have a permanent home for a museum until 1963 when it opened in 5 rooms in the downstairs area of a home belonging to Reno County Historical Society founder and then president Goldie Mopin, and she lived in the home originally built by one of the former mayors of Hutchinson, J.P. Harsha, for whom the large drainage canal on the outskirts of the city was named. Then, by 1967, the Society collections outgrew the Harsha House, and the Reno County Historical Museum was moved to nearby Haven, Kansas, and the museum thrived for the first few years. Community leaders believed the museum would provide an anchor for downtown growth and the development of tourism in Haven, Kansas. Efforts to gain a tax base for support from the Reno County mill levy for the museum were unsuccessful. However, the museum's home in historic township also began to deteriorate during the early 1970s. The roof began to leak and the basement periodically flooded. Collection storage areas also filled to capacity, and the museum was forced to stop collecting artifacts in 1976. Also, during that time, The collection had grown to approximately 10,000 artifacts, some of which were lost or ruined due to the terrible condition of the building and the lack of environmental control. Community support also ebbed as the condition of the museum facility grew worse. In 1984, the Reno Historical Society's board of directors began a campaign to bring the museum back to the more heavily populated city of Hutchinson, and it was known as the Kansas Underground Salt Museum. The museum is built within one of the world's largest deposits of rock salt and provides the opportunity to go 650 feet beneath the Earth's surface. Also, tours depart every 20 minutes. And visitors get to explore the mine for a minimum of 2 hours. So to see when it happens, do check the web about it. Also, you could even walk around the mine, but to get to the mine, this is what you do. As you select a time to go down to the mine, the time you chose, you will be taken to a room to watch a film about safety and about do's and don'ts in the mine. And then you'll go into a hoist, and the staff members will even discuss what is happening and everything about it. Also, you would even ride a tram for a tour, which is known as the Dark Tours. And also, the train in the mine is known as the Salt Mine Express. The train in the mine was brought down to the mine in 2011. The train you ride in the salt mine was used at a number of locations such as state fairs and zoos in the states of Minnesota and Kansas. It was previously used at the Hutchinson Zoo here in Hutchinson, Kansas, until being acquired by the museum. And also, you would even take a 15-minute ride through a part of the mine that was active during the 1940s and 50s. Riders will get to travel through time and witness things the miners left behind. Also, in 2013, the place was renamed the STRATACA Kansas Underground Salt Museum as well. And today, people get to see what it would have been like in the mine back then, as the mine is used as a museum today.
What you see right behind me is Hutchinson and Northern 2.
Hutchinson and Northern 2 was built by General Electric in 1919 and is the 6988th electric locomotive built by that factory and is a steeple cab type electric locomotive. This locomotive was originally used for the East Erie Commercial Railway and was originally numbered E8. Then, in 1926, it was purchased by Carey Salt and was used on the Hutchinson and Northern Railroad and was renumbered 2. And it was used for moving cars around the railroad as well. Then, in 1963, it was retired and was sold to a scrapper, but it escaped the torch, thankfully. In 1970, it was put on display at the old Reno County Museum in Hutchinson, Kansas. Then, sometime between 2007 and 2013, it was relocated to be set beside the building at the STRATACA Kansas Underground Salt Museum in Hutchinson, Kansas, where it can be seen on display today.
Usually I would be wearing my baseball cap that I wear for most of the videos, but since I can't wear it down here, unfortunately, there's a rule here in the salt mine. I have to wear a hard hat like everybody else. But anyways, you could see right here the mine cart, but there's stairs on the other side, and this was probably used around here many years ago till would be put right here. And let's look at more rail equipment that's around here. Okay, so you can see behind me are 6 flatbeds that are primarily used for maintenance of way use. And as you can see, all these boxes stacked on them. But I wonder how they got them down here, probably by elevator or something. But yeah, pretty cool how they have this set up. And I wonder if these were used in the mine. Maybe. Okay, you can see right here is a red cart that you can see how it carries danger powder and bags and all that. I can hear my ears pop because we're 650 feet below the earth, and this is like the height of St. Louis's Arch, but at the bottom. But yeah. But anyways, you could see that this cart was used on the rail in the mine. Yeah. And I think this is how they loaded materials and such. Okay, you can see right behind me is what looks like a motive power pulling some mine carts, similar to the car we just saw by the train station. And this orange cart was used to pull the carts loaded in and out of the mine. Unloaded would go in and loaded would come out. And yeah, let's look at some more. Okay, you can see another train behind me. This was the first aid train, looks like, in case anyone got hurt down here. And that's almost similar to the one mine locomotive we just saw. And also, the one we just saw has an electrical pole, which I didn't point out. Sorry about that. But you can see, you may have seen the pole on the wire on the ceiling. And yeah, that's how it got its power. And this one was used to take people, or I think that's how they did it back then, taking people to the mine, to the below 650 feet. Here's another electric mining engine, the Carey Salt Plant Company 3. And there's a wire, just like I mentioned in the previous scene, and there's no overhead wire above. Surprise. And this one was used to come in and out of the mine with mining products, and yeah.
In 1983, the miners used a rail system to transport salt from the mine face to the salt skip, where it was hoisted topside. Then, in 1983, they switched to a conveyor belt system. On the left is a car that was used to haul salt, and railroad tracks that were abandoned when mining left this area in the 1950s. The miners would use the same rails and ties over and over, since bringing more down the skip was both time-consuming and costly. Our train crew ripped up and hauled back abandoned rails and ties from the mine that were used for our train track. Almost 5,000 feet of rail for the track you're riding on. At the next curve, we'll pass by other original cars used with the rail system, including a hand-wheel-operated rail bending car.
I'm not going to show myself in front of these cars, so I'll have the speaker do all the work for you. Well, I hope you all enjoyed learning about trains with me today, and Matthew Lapp, Train Guy. Also, I hope to see you all again real soon, and if you didn't subscribe to the channel yet, the subscribe button is just down below the video screen. If you didn't give the Facebook page a like yet, here's where you'll want to go. And if you didn't give the Instagram page a follow yet, here's where you want to go as well. Also, be sure to get your merch at teesprings.com. I'll have the link in the description box below, along with the Facebook and Instagram pages. And as always, remember to subscribe to the Train Guy. So this is Matthew Lapp, host of Matthew Lapp Train Guy, signing out. Until next time, all aboard!